subscribers. Go subscribe already. Hit the fucking like button and subscribe before I knock your ass out, man. I ain't fucking with you, man.
What's going on, everybody? UFC Vegas 30. Volkov versus Gane. A big main event in the heavyweight division, guys. Very excited for this main event. A decent card all around. We have some fun fights on the main card. I'll be going over the main card like usual, providing full breakdowns on the main card. Free picks and leans, of course. A lot of close fights on this card, which can go either way in my opinion. So not the best card from a betting standpoint, but I'll be going all over that shortly here. Nice week last week for myself and subscribers. Main play cash with Spivak and Chaos Williams. A nice plus 137. Two fight parlay there. And Cheeto by decision, plus 175. Cheeto fight and Cheeto versus Grant. That fight was great. Great fight, great scrap. Both guys showed toughness, went to a dark place, and Cheeto was able to just win the second and third round with some more volume, some grappling. Almost got the choke there at the end, but Davy Grant showed how tough he is, and he lasted all three rounds. I did give that to you guys as well. Plus 175. Free play and subscriber play. I was surprised with the Spivak fight going all three rounds. I did think Spivak would finish the fight. He almost did. He had his chance to finish it, but he didn't in the end. So that was a good fight for Spivak to get the win. Big name on his resume, right? So now he has three, I think maybe four in a row now. So good for the youngster, but couldn't put him away. And I did think a couple times when he went to the ground with him, showed some inexperience. His only chance to win the bull constrictor was on the ground. So why go on the ground with him and try to force it, even though his grappling is decent? But that's the only way Alexi's going to win the fight, right? So little inexperience there. And I also didn't see that Chaos fight going all three rounds as well. He pulled out a decision win there. It's back-to-back decision fights for Chaos. So he's showing that he can go three rounds. His cardio is good, and he does enough. The difference in that fight is Matthew was throwing one punch. Right, every time Chaos came in, he would throw 3-4 punches, follow with a leg kick. So I think obviously Chaos won. There's no question that he won that fight. It's just he had more volume. He did more. Susselberger didn't do enough in that fight. And it was a fairly easy cash on that part. So a good week for us. We've been heating up in the UFC. Main event was interesting, guys. I didn't have a play on it. I thought that I leaned the fight going not going all five. It did go all five. I didn't have a strong opinion on that fight. And I didn't see Korean Zombie, mainly going to his grappling and wrestling in the fight. I thought it would mostly be on the feet. But Korean Zombie won a smart veteran fight. He brought it to the ground where he knew he had the advantage. We don't see a ton of it from him. He usually likes to scrap, come forward, be that zombie-style fighter, but he did what he needed to do to win the fight, and that was to grapple and wrestle. And you've seen Ige in the fifth round. He came on strong when he was on the feet. He caught him a couple times, but then Zombie was able to recover. So smart fight by Zombie. Very smart fight. Every time Ige stepped in competition now, he did lose to Cater when he stepped up, and now he did lose to Zombie. So I don't think Ige is ever going to be that guy, that top five guy in the division, but great fighter. Love to watch the guy. And if he gets the right matchups, he's a good bet on Guy. Let's get right into the weekly update, guys. Weekly update. We are rolling. We are rolling in all sports right now. Guys, we had 10 plus money winners from Saturday to Monday. It was a 3-day 10 plus money winners. That's beating my record. So we had 10 plus money winners in 3 days, scaling from plus 105 up to plus 1100. We're on a 12-3 all sports run right now. UFC 49 and 26 best bets, 65% long term. Okay, 65% long term, one of the highest percentages long term in the betting market. NHL also highest NHL run right now, 64 and 33, 66%. That is long term as well, guys. All plays. Staying hot in the NHL, back on another run here. Just when you think the regression is going to come, it does not. PGA, big U.S. Open with best bet winner on ROM, top continental Europe plus 120, and an outright on ROM plus 1100. 3 other plus money winners on that betting card, guys. 67% best bets in the PGA long term right now. PGA continues to run hot. Euro Cup is running hot. We're doing really well in the Euro Cup. 10-3 after the group stage, including futures as well. Plus 6.8 units. If you guys tailed me so far on all of my futures that I gave out on that video, hopefully you watched that video, the Euro Cup video, you'll be going 4-0 on the futures right now with a bunch left and some I'm really excited about, especially Italy. My Italy futures I'm really excited about. They are looking great. I did send my round of 16 bets already to my subscribers. So check out for that if you are a subscriber/client and watching this video. And the NBA, MLB continue to be low volume. I don't have a good feel in that right now, and I'm busy winning in other sports. So I'm not going to get to NBA, MLB. MLB I'll get more active once NHL is completed. All right, guys, before we get into the card, here's a message from my friend Meredith.
Guys, Meredith Gorman here, and are you still not subscribed to Matt's channel? Well, if you're not, hit the subscribe button because he's giving out free picks each and every week. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
All right, guys. Also, check out SystemCapping, SystemSportsCapping.com, SystemSportsCapping.com for all my subscription options if you want to get on board. Get those Euro Cup plays, get my UFC plays every week, get my NHL plays, get all my sports that I'm betting, PGA. You're going to get that emailed to you every time I have a play with a detailed subscription on why I like to play, unit size, and everything. Updated records daily on there as well. All things system capping. Thanks for some of my new subscribers. I had 2 guys, I think, last week jump on the weekend, and then I won 10 plus money winners in a row, and we're on a 12-3 winning streak. So these guys must be very happy. They definitely jumped on the right time, and consistency is me. I'm never going to put you on a long losing streak. I'm going to go on longer winning streaks. I always stay consistent, and that's why I treat it like a stock. My betting strategy is never to put anyone in holes. Other people you jump on, if you do, they're going to put you in holes. I try to avoid that, and like I said, I go on long-term runs. Let's get right into the main card, guys. Main event. Let's get right into the main event here. Remember, shop around for the best number. Shop around for the best number. This is not the best number. This is just for video purposes. Gane, minus 170 versus Volkov, plus 145. Interesting main event we have here, and I'm excited for it, guys. It's a classic matchup of, a possible up-and-comer future champion youngster style with limited experience versus the vet who has been around, has looked, and is looking as good as ever right now. And some people would say he's in his prime, right? Gane is only 8-0, guys. Keep that in mind. Volkov has 33 wins and has over 40 fights. So this is something to keep in mind. Both guys have, I think, fairly similar styles. They'll both try to use the leg kicks. They'll both try to keep it on the feet for the most part and use their reach advantage that they usually do have in fights, but not here. Volkov will have the height advantage here, like he does in most of his fights. However, doesn't have the reach advantage here. Right? A lot of his fights, he likes to use that reach, likes to keep the distance, and likes to use the leg kicks. He's not really going to be able to use it here. That's what I'm a little worried about. Volkov doesn't do well versus a wrestling style, guys, right? We know that. And he wants to keep this on the feet. I've been watching some Volkov interviews, and he's super excited that he thinks his fight's going to just stay standing. So it'll be interesting to see if Gaethje decides to flip that around and tries to maybe grapple. Because, Ciryl Gane, he could keep this against the cage. He could grapple. He could kind of pin Volkov against the cage and work there. And we've seen Volkov struggle. If this is an open mat and these two are just striking, kickboxing style fight, Muay Thai type fight, Volkov has a very good chance to cash this at a plus 145. And that's why I think there's some value there. Right, with Volkov at plus 145, shop around, maybe get a 150 there. This is a fight where, yes, Gane hasn't showed me enough to be able to jump at 170. I think if you liked Gane, you could have got him earlier in the week. I think it was like minus 140, 135 in that range. it's just the value is gone off Gane. I wouldn't lay a straight up bet minus 170 on Gane just due to Volkov's experience. He's in a groove right now. And just because I think Gane isn't won enough in the UFC against top tier guys. Let's talk a little about his last fight against Rosenstruck. Now, a lot of people are going to say he didn't do enough in that fight. He didn't get the knockout. I think he just played it smart to get the win. Rosenstruck, you can see what he does. He sits back, and he waits for that opening. Look what he did last fight. He sat back, and he got the late first round finish right off that power shot. He has a ton of power, Rosenstruck, and that's what he looks for. Rosenstruck's not going to beat you, in a volume type of fight. So that's why Gane played it smart. He didn't rush in. He didn't try to get the knockout. He just won on points, and he outstruck him. He dominated the fight, but it just wasn't, it wasn't the most exciting fight to watch. I agree with that. But he did what he needed to do to beat a guy like that. In Volkov, it's totally different. Volkov doesn't have a one-punch knockout, right? He's not really known for that. He'll get some decision wins. He'll get some volume wins with his striking, but he's not going to a one-punch knockout like a Derek Lewis or Francis Ngannou. Volkov is not like that. It's going to be a kicking type of fight, kickboxing style fight. It's going to be back and forth. I think this fight could go all 5. Or a late stoppage. I really like the over 2.5, over 3.5 in this fight. I think they take some time to feel each other out on the feet. If it's a knockout, I think it's a little later, and I think it may be more of a TKO type of finish. But I just can't, even if I do like Gane, I just can't get it at 170 price. And outcome, I do not know. I don't know if it's going to be finished or if it's going to be a decision, to be honest, guys. But my favorite bet in this fight is the over 2.5. A little juice, but you can put in a 2-fight parlay. And even the 3.5, I would take a look at. When you're starting to get into the 4.5, you might as well just play the decision at 4.5. When it's 4.5, right? Unless there's a late 5th round stoppage, and there could be. I think one of these guys, Gane's path to victory, I think, would be chopping down those big legs of Volkov and then attacking. That's what I think, attacking later in the fight. So you're going to see some heavy strikes from Gane. He does do that, especially with the leg kicks. It's going to be a very interesting fight. I don't have a play on it as of yet. I am looking at that over 2.5, though. That may make my card. This is going to be just a fun fight to watch to see if Gane could pass the test. This is Gane's biggest fight yet. This is his biggest fight yet. Toughest opponent yet. Can he pass the test this early in his career, guys? Remember, only 8 fights. He's only 8 fights in. How good is he? We're going to see. We're going to see after this weekend how good is he. I'm not going to have a bet on it, mainly due to the price. I understand the Volkov love at plus 145. If I were to bet a side of this, it would just be a value bet on Volkov, smaller play. But I just can't get to with Gane at that price. It's going to be a more weight and feel. I like the 2.5. I'll probably jump on that and put on a 2-fight parlay. Co-main, guys. Co-main. Bozer is back after, I think he just fought like 3 weeks ago. Minus 170 versus St. Preux, plus 145. Bozer's back. He had a tough loss versus Latifi a few weeks back. Close fight. It was a quick turnaround for him. He'll be the bigger guy in there. St. Preux is more of a light heavyweight. I don't like when he jumps up to heavyweight here. So that size could play a factor here. Bozer, I just think he's hungry here for a win. He did lose 2 back-to-back close decision wins. He lost that close decision, like I mentioned last week, 3 weeks ago to Latifi. And he also had a close decision loss as well previously. So it's tough. It's tough to really back Bozer at minus 170. I do think he gets the job done. St. Preux is a vet too. He will stand and bang with Bozer. If it does get to the ground, he has that threat for submission. It's just, laying minus 170 with Bozer is scary. It's not something I'm going to be betting. I don't suggest you do either. Sure, I think Bozer would get this victory, and I do think it probably gets to the judges. A lot of Bozer's fights have been as of late, so I think this fight should go over the 2.5 and should get to the score judges. I lean Bozer, but I don't like the price here. Next fight, interesting one here. Barcelos minus 220 versus Volkov at plus 180. Both guys with good records going against each other here. I do think the Brazilian, is the better fighter here and should get the win. But again, this price, it's not, you're going to hear it, this is like going to be a broken record for the whole main card, guys. The prices. I'm going to be bringing it up. I don't love the prices on these cards, and I'm leaning to most favorites, which I try not to do, but I'm leaning to the favorites on this card, at least on the main card. Barcelos is very well-rounded, guys. Very well-rounded. Anywhere this fight goes, he should feel very comfortable. That's why I like the guy. Volkov only has 2 UFC fights with a win and no contest. His last fight was against Marvin Day, which I don't think is good at all. I don't think he's a good fighter, and he won by a decision win in that one. This is a fight I could see going the distance. I can see it going over the 2.5 rounds. Both guys do fight to decisions more than not. Barcelos has fought the much more tougher competition if you look at his Sherdog. And this isn't an easy fight for him. It's not going to be obviously the toughest competition that he's fought. But I do think Barcelos gets it done. I just wouldn't bet this minus 220. I would look at a decision prop here to get a better number. If you do like the Barcelos side, obviously value with Volkov at plus 180. He just hasn't shown me anything to bet him. Sure, he has a nice squeaky clean record, 17-2, but so does Barcelos at 16-1. And Barcelos, every time he goes in there, I like him. He fights for his money. He comes forward. He's a great wrestler. He can strike. He can do it all. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. I just don't see where Volkov wins this fight. I really don't, guys. So I do like Barcelos. I just can't get to that minus 220. There's no value there. So you got to look at the decision prop. And you're getting a good number. Like I mentioned, these guys fight to decisions. Much better number, obviously, decision. You get it at plus money. Next fight here, it's a fun one, guys. Feely. Feely is back. Touchy-feely. Again, same situation. Minus 230 versus the dangerous Daniel Pineda at plus 190. It's a very fun fight. This one should not disappoint. I'm excited to watch it. Am I excited to bet on it? No. I expect Pineda to come out swinging like usual and Feely to use his skill, movement, all-around game, to find a way to win this fight. Feely has fought top guys in this division, and when he does step up to top-level guys, he usually isn't on the right side of the decision, right? The good news for Feely, Pineda is not one of those top-level guys. Very dangerous, right? Pineda isn't a fun fight for anybody, don't get me wrong, but Feely has the experience to keep up with Pineda. Pineda usually looks for the finish early. Most of his fights that he wins are KOs, but the issue is Feely doesn't really get finished. He got one bad luck year, Rodriguez crazy spinning kick that knocked him out, but that was the only time. Pineda probably would be the bigger guy in there, which is the only thing, and he could try to maybe just wrestle and body Feely. We know Feely's not that big of a guy, but he is strong. He has pretty solid takedown defense and can grapple as well. When he starts grappling with the best guys like a Bryce Mitchell, you see what happened there. So that's a little thing. Is Pineda going to just try to wrestle the whole time? Probably not. You don't see that much from him, but that could be his path to victory if he wants to make it ugly, kind of wrestle, try to hit him with a big strike. But, this is one of those fights that if you do bet Feely, it's going to be a sweat. Because Feely's most likely going to win by a decision. So it's just going to be razor thin. I won on Feely fights before, and it's just like 3 rounds of headache, and it's not something you want to be betting on Feely much, especially because most of the time he's going to win by decision. And minus 230, I'm not willing to find out. If you're going to bet this fight, I'd lean Feely by decision. You get it at plus money. But it's not a fight I love, guys. I'm not going to be betting it. I'm going to just watch this as a fan and definitely be very interested to see what happens, see if Feely can get. He's been talking about how he wants to fight every 2 months. He wants to get back in there. And I think he's due for a win here. It's a good matchup for him. It's a little step down in competition for him. So I do think he gets it done, but it's going to be a sweat job in my opinion. Tim Means, the veteran, is back minus 130 versus Darby plus 110. It's an interesting one here, guys. They just put this one together. Means was supposed to fight a few weeks ago but that got canceled. Darby's coming off a nice dog win versus Daniel Rodriguez. Now, I remember I was on Daniel Rodriguez in that fight. I think it was in a 2-fight parlay, and he ruined it. Darby, people say Daniel Rodriguez won. It was close. I don't even know. It was a very close fight. Means is on his own little win streak too. Wins over Mike Perry and Starpoli. Nothing really to be too excited about. But he's Gane Means. Right? Very tough guy. Great boxing. Great jab. He's always game, man. He's very experienced type of fighter. Right? Darby's tough too. He's tough to read sometimes. He looks good in fights. He looks bad. He pulls off decision wins. He beat Cowboy Oliveira in a close decision as well. Both of those fights could have went either way. Darby could easily be 0-2 in the UFC, but he's not, and he's 2-0. He's 2-0 in those decision fights. Darby, he just shows toughness. He continues to show toughness, but Means also is a very tough guy, right? So this is why I really like the over. I like the over 2.5 in this fight. I can see this fight going to the judges as well. I wouldn't be too surprised. Winner, I guess, if you're going to, it's almost a flip of a coin, in my opinion, in this fight. I lean Darby just due to the plus 110 price. That's the only reason. But, I could see Tim Means pulling it off, just mainly with that jab, outstriking him and outpointing him on the feet. But I could see Darby maybe trying to go to some wrestling. I know Means is not a bad wrestler, but I think Darby could try to grapple, make it ugly, and steal a decision win, another close one. Like I said, guys, all his wins, Darby, are just close decision wins that could have went either way. I think this is the same type of fight. It's going to be a sweat job. It's most likely going to go to the judges. So when you think that's going to happen, what do? You play the over 2.5. Little juiced. You can put in a 2-fight parlay. Even the fight to go the distance, not a bad bet as well. But yeah, my favorite bet in this fight is the 2.5 may make my subscriber card. McConnell minus 240 versus Herbert plus 200. Again, same as the Feely fight and the other fight. Minus 240. I just can't get on it. I can't get on it, even though I do think McConnell finds a way to win this fight. A random fight, to my opinion, to open up the main card. Another high-price favorite. The difference of competition is huge here, guys. McConnell has fought the best of the best. Aldo, Zombie, Ortega, Cater, and even Faizev. I'll add him in there as well. Great striker. One of the best strikers I've seen in this division, even in the whole UFC. When McConnell steps up in competition, he usually loses. That's what the issue is here. Herbert isn't a step up in competition. I think they're kind of feeding him this type of fight to get the win. Herbert's not a bad fighter. He just hasn't beat anybody, right? You've seen in his last fight, he got finished by Trinaldi late in the third round. I remember that fight was, I think, 1-1 going into the third. And it's Trinaldi. I like Trinaldi. He's a good fighter. But that was his UFC debut. Herbert, I think he has a good jab from what I've seen. He worked that well against Trinaldi in the round. He's long. He has a pretty good range. And McConnell's been known to be knocked out. Right? He does have 2 KOs in his last 3 fights. Some say he could be chinny. Herbert also could be chinny. Remember, Herbert's been fighting on a regional scene, beating guys in England, which is not impressive. You're stepping up to a veteran guy, a guy that's been in there with the best of the best. So I do like McConnell here, just finding a way to get this done. I think he just finds a way to get it done, even involve maybe some wrestling and grappling if the stand-up's not going to his liking. Not a price I'll be laying or betting. I would maybe lean a decision win for him, but I haven't betted as of yet. I just think he'll win the fight. It's just not a price that I like betting. I don't like laying this type of price in a fight where anything could happen, and McConnell has been shown that he is chinny. All right, guys, that will do it for this card. Like I always say, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Please like. Please share with friends. Free picks given out every week on here. Winners every week. A lot more winners than losers. Big plus money winners every week. So get on board now. You can check out SystemCapping.com if you want my subscriber plays, personal plays. They are always long-term winners. Like I always say, guys, bet smart and know your limits. Take care.